Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leopard Warrior Trails information webinar. And I'm really excited to be joined by Massimo Rebuzzi. And I'm just going to be letting folks into the room now. So it's really good to see everyone. Thank you for your interest in this unusual retreat. And we're going to be talking to you about the retreat shortly. I'm going to be playing my drum. Massimo is going to be talking about experiences and walking in the African bush. And we're going to have a wonderful slideshow. And then we're going to open it up to people if they have any questions, if they're interested to join us, and what what they can expect from this unusual and amazing retreat. We're also going to make some space for folks who were on the retreat last year to share some of their experiences. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I was going to bring my colleague Massimo in. So welcome, Massimo.
Good evening from my side. Thanks, John. Welcome, everyone. Glad those who are here could make it. So I hope we have a good chat and answer some questions and create some excitement around this amazing event. So welcome.
So this retreat was, the dream of this retreat came about with me and Massimo talking about doing something together in South Africa. And what I loved about Massimo's work is that he does trails where he walks in the African bushveld and then they sleep around a fire. And we walk for 3 days and we sleep around a fire. And he was talking to me about some of these experiences that he was having with the animals and also with people's own transformational journeys. And so I said to him, yeah, let's do it. I really want to do it. It sounds like an amazing experience. So I went with him this year. We took a group and it was incredible. And that's why that's why we're calling it Leopard Warrior Trails, because to do this trail, you need to engage with the warrior inside of you. It's an initiation of a kind, in the sense that sometimes you feel uncomfortable, sometimes you have to push through your limits, and sometimes all you can do is just listen to the sounds of nature and let those sounds initiate you and help you to go deeper with your senses. So that's why we came upon the idea of doing 3 days walking in the bushveld and sleeping around the fire, and the other 5 days has got to do with orientating people to the bush and then also integrating after the 3-day experience. So the whole retreat is 8 days, and people will fly into Johannesburg airport, and from there they will be picked up. And this year we took a bus where we went to Hoedspruit, which is close to where the game reserves are. But next year we're going to be taking a flight. So people will fly into Johannesburg and then they'll take another flight to Hoedspruit, to where the game reserve is, that we're going to be walking in. And then we're going to be staying in a luxury lodge for a few days, where we're going to be getting the tent and all the equipment sorted out, and we're going to be orientating people to the bush and their backpacks, and giving them some instruction around that. And then we're going to hit the trail for 3 days, and then after that we're going to spend a couple more nights in a lodge, and people will be going on a traditional African safari, game viewing in vehicles. So the whole experience is going to involve walking in the bush and also observing animals in a jeep. And people are going to be guided with myself and also with Massimo. I'm going to be teaching people how to engage with the spiritual essence of Africa. As a traditional African shaman, as a Sangoma, I'm going to be leading rituals throughout the 8 days. And I'm also going to be using medicinal plants, which are non-hallucinogenic, to help people connect to their spirit and help people connect to their ancestors. So the most important thing for us as Sangomas when you're walking through the bushveld is to open up your senses, open up all your 6 senses. And many people come from urban environments where they have to dumb down their senses. So that's why I bring in medicinal plants and ritual and prayer to help people let go and open up into the beautiful expanse of the African bushveld. I'd like to play my drum in the next few minutes, but before I do that, I'd like to just offer space for Massimo to say a few words, Massi.
Thanks, John. So yeah, the last trip we did was incredible. You know, it was a great success from my part. I think everyone gained a lot. The very essence of this wilderness trail we're doing is, I don't want to say challenge, but you do get out of your comfort zone a bit. The traditional safari is great. So if you go in a vehicle, you know, safari jeep, and you view zebras and lions and elephants, it's incredible. Don't get me wrong. You connect with these animals, you have a great time, you take photos, and you get to be in the space of Africa. You know, having said that, and spending a long time in the bush guiding as a career all over Southern Africa, the walking for me is truly immersive. You connect on a much deeper level, and you come out with a lot more than from a vehicle. You know, you really connect, and instead of just observing nature or the bush, you participate in it. And by participation, you learn, you grow, and you come out with a lot more than you'd think. And so that's why we decided, like John said, to combine the traditional safari, obviously what John's bringing as well, in terms of ceremonies and various aspects, and then a deeper guided experience, which I'm going to offer as well. So learning about animals, tracking animals, and potentially learning skills which we can incorporate into our daily lives. You know, coming out of this experience is once again a lot deeper than a normal safari or a traditional safari. And that's why John and I are so excited about this offering. We find it's really powerful. It's totally unique. You know, nothing's being done like this globally. And I truly believe that the participants from the last trail came out with some great, not only memories, but great growth as well, as John and I did as well. So I'm really excited. I look forward to the next one, and I hope we can answer questions and make everything a bit clearer. Not everyone's used to walking in the bush out in the open and sleeping under a fire. So I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to clear up any sort of you know, misinformation or safety issues that there may be in the bush. So I hope to get onto that a bit later. Thanks.
Thanks, Massi. And before I go any further, I'd just like to just play my drum and just bring in the African spirits and bring in the energy of Africa as a Sangoma. And because sound is very important, you know, sound is incredibly important. The first sense we develop when we're in the womb of our mothers is the sound, is the sense of hearing. And when we are passing into the other world, the last sense that we hold on to is the sense of hearing. So as I play the drum and as we listen to the sounds of Africa, that's how you can start to open your senses. So there's many times when we were around the fire and we'd be quiet and we would just listen to the sounds. In fact, a lot of the retreats in terms of the 3 days walking is just listening to the sounds of nature. And that's how you open up your other senses. That's how you open up your third eye. And that's how you open up your dream space. Because in our daily life, there's so much noise and we have to filter and we have to dumb down because we can't absorb everything we hear and see. So let me play my drum for a few minutes. On the retreat, I'm going to be talking about connecting with your heartbeat and connecting with your senses. So let's do a little bit of a ritual now. So I invite everyone to sit up straight, connect with your heartbeat, and connect with your umoya. So in South Africa, we say that amongst the Sangomas, the role of the Sangoma is to help people connect to their spirit, to their umoya, to that part of them that doesn't die, to that part of them that is connected to the dream time, to that infinite space, that infinite unfathomable space beyond us. So the point of this work with me and Masi is to help you connect to your own dream time, to help you connect to your umoya, to your spirit, to the part of you that doesn't die. And it's facilitated through the land and through the animals, because as we're working and walking and coexisting with wild animals, they teach us what is important. They teach us how to connect to our senses, and they teach us how to accept mortality of the physical body. And they also teach us how to connect to our spirit. And they teach us beyond words. So when we are going into the African bushveld, it doesn't matter if you speak English, doesn't matter if you speak Xhosa, Shangaan, Swahili, because those are not the languages of the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom speaks in the language of the animal kingdom speaks in the language of movement, and the language of smell, and the language of body language. So part of what we are doing is educating people when they come to do this retreat. I'm educating people in the spiritual sense, in terms of as a Sangoma, how to hold your body in a traditional African way, in terms of inviting your ancestors and spirits in. Massimo is going to be teaching you the body language of the bushveld. So how to hold yourself when you're walking through the bush, how to respect animals, how to communicate with animals, and also how to be respectful of the animal kingdom. So that's Massimo's job. And so we are teaching people life skills, but we are also teaching it in this very charged African landscape that is uncultivated, undomesticated. It's wild. It's wild and it's dangerous. And that's the same thing as a human being. We are wild and we're dangerous. But once you connect to your own wildness, you become a lot more harmonious. So this is the job on observing and walking with animals that are wild. They teach us how to wake up our own wildness and how to respect it. Because as human beings nowadays, we have a huge impact on the environment, and that impact is not altogether positive. So many people, conservationists like Masi, like myself, who are coming together to teach people how to be in nature in more of a harmonious way. So to do that properly, we have to connect to our human spirit. We have to connect to our bones and our ancestors. So without further ado, I'm going to play my drum, and I invite you to sit up straight. I invite you to welcome in your own ancestors. I invite you to listen to your own heartbeat and to feel your intention about coming to Africa. If that is your intention, then just say it to the universe, and it'll happen. So here we go. I've got my isikubo. I'm just going to lower the camera. And here's my isikubo. Ye abazali bamu bamu, ya abazali bamu bamu, ye abazali bam, ye abazali bamu. Oh, volenle la manyange he, volenle la manyange he. Volenle la manyange he, volenle la manyange he. Hey, 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 Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yabazalibamo, 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 Tamagui yabazalibamo. Volenle la manyange he, volenle la manyange he, volenle la manyange he, volenle la manyange he, volenle la vazalibamo, volenle la vazalibamo, volenle la vazalibamo, volenle la vazalibamo. Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he, Tamagui yamanyange he. Tamagui yabazalibamo, Tamagui yabazalibamo, Tamagui yabazalibamo, Tamagui yabazalibamo, Volenle lavazalibamo, Volenle lavazalibamo, Volenle lavazalibamo, Volenle lavazalibamo. Welcome in your own ancestors. Feel your heartbeat. Welcome in your people. Welcome in your connection to the divine. Welcome in your mother's ancestors and your father's ancestors. Welcome in all your people. Feel your connection to nature. Feel your intention to come and join us in Africa. So I'm just going to play my drum for a few more moments. Feel your heartbeat. So feel your own drummer in your chest. So put your hand on your chest. Make contact with the drum inside of you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a young game, young game. 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 Abazali bamo, bamo, yabazali bamo, bamo, yabazali bamo, bamo, yabazali bamo, bamo. Oh, abazali bam, oh, abazali bam. I'm a young game, young game. 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 So welcome in your ancestors, your guardian spirits, your connection to nature. Welcome them in. So thanks everyone. And what I'd like to do is do a slideshow shortly and just talk to you about the African bush. So I'm just going to welcome in my colleague again. And so in the moment, just feel your heartbeat, feel your connection to Africa. So any words from you, Masi?
Thanks, John. Always great to hear the drums and connect again. So I'm calling from Northern Natal currently. That's where I'm chatting to everyone in the game lodge where I'm conducting a safari. You can see the beautiful animal behind me. I'm hoping to see some of those rhinos in the next coming days. So looking forward to it. But overall, I'd love to see the photos. I know there's a few from both of us on there. We can explain a bit, and possibly at some point explain a bit more about the experience. And certainly John and I, this incredible experience is is obviously taking place in Africa, yes, and that's the most powerful thing, but it's being facilitated by John and I. However, the most powerful thing and reason you're coming for is Africa. But at some point, it'd be great to chat, explain a bit more about not only the schedule, but you know, a bit about expectations and what the experience holds. So yeah, I look forward to that. Maybe through the photos or the slideshow, we can do a bit of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Masi. So I'm going to start the slideshow now. And we're just going to go from slide to slide and just talk about the land. And so here we go. So this is Masi's feet, isn't it, Masi?
Those are, let me just have a good look. Yeah, those are definitely my feet.
So
Yeah.
there's some
So that
elephants in the
was
distance. Yeah.
exactly, that was taken in the bush recently. In the last few weeks, I saw a family of elephants coming down to drink at the river, and I promptly walked over to view them. I saw they were quite relaxed, so I sat down and took my shoes off and just connected with these animals as they drank water. It was a breeding herd, so it's a cow with calves. The bulls, as they turn 15 to 18, they'll leave that matriarchal herd, and that's what I'm looking at here. And these are the sort of experiences we get to experience when we're on trail, when we are connecting with walking. Yeah, this is a great one too, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is we've got quite a few pics here, Masi. So we're just going to go from one
Mm,
pic to the next and just say a
great.
few words. So there's going to be about seven or eight of us on the trail, isn't it, Masi? I think the maximum is what, nine of us? How many is it?
It'll be two armed guides, myself and a colleague, and then John and 7 other participants.
Yes, so we're looking for seven folks, seven lucky folks to win the lottery and come and join us. So as you can see, this is what we do. We camp out near a fire. You can see the fire there, and you can see people outside. And there's their tents and getting ready to um, to 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 set up camp. Eh?
That's it. That is our camp under the stars on a comfortable mattress and fully immersed.
And there's the group. There we are with our prayer fabrics, and the sun is just rising, and we're doing some meditation. This is a
Yeah,
great shot
special
of
moment.
Massey's. Yeah, say a few words.
Yeah, so this was on night shift. We do 1 hour night shifts each during the evening. Obviously, someone needs to be awake at all times. We are in the big five bush or dangerous game bush, or an area that is open where elephants, lions, and other wild animals roam around. So in the evening, around a small campfire, for about 1 hour or so, each person does night watch, just looking out for animals, shining around, and spending an incredible hour by themselves under the stars and really diving inward into that sort of sacred space which we all get to share every evening for an hour each. So that's my hour. I've got the morning shift and I'm enjoying a hot cup of tea while the sun rises.
And that's everyone looking at a lion, I think, in the distance there. Hey, Massey?
Yes, so there was a lion that walked through camp. I heard someone say lion, 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 and 2 in the morning. So I woke up and there sure enough was a lioness walking through, not through camp, but quite close. And she met up with a male and they mated all night, right there in that open area. And in the morning we woke up and we watched them. It was very safe. He even came past, had a look at us, and went back to the female. When lions mate, it's very loud. They mate every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's a very loud event. So we didn't get much sleep, but it was well worth it. So incredible experience.
Wow. That's a great picture of Massey and
So
an elephant, a baby elephant, eh?
yeah, that's a juvenile. Upstairs, we've got the classic sort of bushveld scene with the sun setting. And then downstairs, we've got me sharing space with a beautiful elephant, which are incredible animals to connect with. And once you spend time with the elephant in close proximity, only then do you feel how powerful and amazing these creatures are.
Oh, it's a great shot here of the leopard, Masi. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a big old male leopard. He was just feeding on an elephant carcass, actually. Believe it or not, that's the bush. Things are born and things die. And in order for things to be born, things must die and be eaten. And this big male had a meal from an elephant, and yeah, he carried on his day.
This is another great shot. I think it's the sunset here. It's beautiful, huh? Wow. And there's all the
Mm.
tents there, everyone on their packs. I mean, not tents, sorry. We sleep on the ground. There's no tents. Yeah, it's a campsite again. Lovely shot, this.
Yeah, so this is us having lunch. A normal day out on this 3-night primitive wilderness trail will be waking up when we wake up, having tea and coffee, maybe doing a ceremony with John, and walking a few Ks, nothing too strenuous. And I'll be interpreting tracks, trees, birds, mammals, and interpreting the bush so it really comes alive. And then when it starts getting hot, we find some shade, maybe near a river or a waterhole. We settle down and we have some lunch and we rest for a few hours. Once it starts cooling down, we'll pack up the backpacks and continue to our next campsite.
Great shot.
This is yeah, it's actually a female that was next to that male.
Oh,
You can see it, yeah. So this female and that male were actually mating, believe it or not. And a little tip here, when you're looking at cats, particularly big cats, leopards and lions in particular, that's what hangs around where I'm from. Look at her nose. You can see her nose is quite pink. So these cats, until they start maturing, they've got a pink nose. And as they age, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, around the nose turns black, and it starts turning black as it comes into the nose. So the blacker the nose, the older the leopard or the older the lion, and then you're dealing with an experienced cat. This one's still got a couple years to go.
so there
Once
again.
again,
Yeah.
yeah, stunning, isn't it? This is the sort of scenery we're going to have on this trail. We're not going to be in the lodges every night. The lodges are great and comfortable, but once you're in the bush, these are the scenes we're blessed with every morning and every evening. And only once you're present there, you realize, oh my goodness, this is quite a potent event, the sun rising and setting.
And here's me and
Okay.
Lockley on the dry riverbed on the walk.
Yeah, I remember that. That was great. We actually dug for water. Sometimes we'll get water drops, but if there is enough water in the riverbed, we'll actually dig in the riverbed and the water will rise through the sand, filtered through, hundreds of cubic meters of beautiful quartzic sort of sand material. It's almost like beach sand, and we'll drink the water straight from there. So that's us getting ready for the last morning's walk after a good rest.
That's the water we're talking about.
There we go. That's a great shot. Yeah, that's a great shot. So busy collecting the water, and just beautiful tasting, clean, fresh water. Another thing about these trails to quickly mention is how you appreciate a quick shower in the evening, fresh, cool water, a good meal, a good cup of coffee, how you appreciate your body taking you from A to B, how you appreciate good sleep and fresh air. It's quite profound. There's not too many times you get to experience this and appreciate all the small things in our lives. So there's so many aspects to this experience. That's just one of them.
Ah, look at that. Starlight in Africa.
Classic. John, I always say that the primitive trails in particular, may not be a 5-star experience, but it is a 10,000-star experience. We under these stars. And there's nothing better than having a hot cup of tea or coffee and talking with peers and your fellow bush enthusiasts around a small fire under this incredible night sky. So lovely.
So For all of you guys listening and watching this, Masi is quite a good astrologer, and he was looking at the stars, and he's got this special flashlight which highlights the stars. He's got a little pointer, so he educates us every night about the different constellations in the sky, and it's quite mesmerizing, I tell you. What's that little pointer you use, Masi?
It's a little green laser, so it's quite a potent little thing, and that's the best way for us to show you what I'm looking at and to sort of describe what we're seeing in the night sky.
Yes, the constellations. I mean, it's such a thing. We walk around in cities and we don't look up as much as we should, but when you do, you realize how small we are and also how magical this life is. And there's the beautiful elephants. We saw quite a few elephants on our trip as well.
We did. That's a magical moment on the way to our next camp. I saw these bull elephants coming down to drink, and we stopped and watched them coming to drink. And that is the sort of experience which these wilderness trails provide, not being in a vehicle, being fully immersed and present. Obviously, this is done safely. I've got a lot of experience. My colleagues joining me will have a lot of experience. Everything is done with safety. However, these experiences present themselves, and you need to be open and present and willing to experience this without fear. Once again, safety is a priority, but moments like this are just magic. And if you open yourself up to it and trust and surrender, you can create really special moments.
Okay, and there's the fire at night, and then you're hearing the sounds of the bushveld. Incredible, hey, Masi?
Yeah, just magic.
There's another shot in the morning time, getting ready for the day. Sun's just risen, and we're starting to pack up our gear, ready for the trail. Another shot. Another shot.
Our bedrooms and our lounges.
Yes. And this is the last place that we slept, and this is where we found water. And it was a dry riverbed, and it was a very beautiful place to sleep. And then we just followed the contours of the river. Any last words around that, Masi?
Yeah, these are special places, John. They're special to me. They hold shade in the heat. They hold water as well. And these are little corridors through the dry, hot bush. So on top, you'll find open landscapes. And down here, you'll get these, what we call drainage lines or dry riverbeds, which flow into larger rivers. And during the winter season, they're usually dry, but there is water flowing beneath. What else is super interesting is what cruises through here during the day and during the night. During the day, it's relatively safe and we'll stay here for lunch, but at night we get leopards coming through, lions coming through. This is a corridor of secrecy and stealth for leopards. So it's a great place to see general game, but also the cats that everyone wants to connect with.
And one of the last nights we did a ritual. I did some chanting and did some invocation to our ancestors. And also, when I talk about ancestors from Africa, we always talk about ancestors as a general term for spirit guides, but it also involves and includes animal spirits. So when we're doing our invocations and our chanting, we're also welcoming in our animal spirits. So this is part of the dry riverbed experience. Each person has their candle, and each person has a chance to pray and invoke and welcome in their ancestors and their spirit guides. This is a lovely shot of the elephants. Yeah, I love this shot. This is one of the times we saw the elephants quite close to us at camp. So that is our slideshow, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. And back to me and Masi. So I think, Masi, do you have any words you want to share before we ask folks if they have any questions for both of us?
Absolutely, John. So thanks for that. Stunning photos. I think people would rather see leopards than me, but we can't show the leopard photos all evening. But
Yeah.
there's so much to say. And there's so much to describe in terms of the rough itinerary. Maybe I should go over the rough itinerary
Yes,
briefly,
yes. Yeah,
just so
go for it.
people can
Yeah.
understand what's happening. So once you sign up for this experience, you'll be landing in Johannesburg, then flying to Hoedspruit. And Hoedspruit is a small, bustling little bush town just outside of Kruger National Park. And from there, we're going to be spending 2 nights in a comfortable lodge and sort of settling into Africa. If you're from the States, you're going to be jet lagged a bit. And we're going to take 2 nights just to sort of meet each other and explain what's going to happen. There's also equipment, backpacks, cooking equipment, and everything, which we will be handing over and getting everybody used to. We'll pack them, we'll get used to sort of the arrangement and the setup. And night 2, we'll chat, and then we leave on a 3-night trail. That 3-night trail, we're going to be in the bush for 3 nights, unsupported, you know. There are satellite phones, and we do have radio communications for emergencies. However, it's just us. It's the 8 participants, you know, or 7, and then John, myself, and a colleague of mine, where myself and my colleague will be armed, legally armed, and just for emergencies, unusual circumstances. And we'll head out into the bush for 3 nights. We'll have all the food we need with us. We'll have all the equipment we need with us. And water, once again, will either be dropped off at each camp for each night, or, you know, best case, we dig in the riverbed for it each day. So there's plenty of water to drink, cook food, boil water, and even shower in the evenings. So that is where we're going to get our water from. Each person will have their own meals to prepare for themselves. And we will be teaching everyone how to use all this equipment as well. 3 nights will pass. On the last morning, we'll head back to another lodge after that trail, which most people don't want to do, but we have to eventually. But trust me, a hot shower is very welcome. And that next lodge, we're spending 3 nights where we're going to get pampered, we're going to be cooked for, we're going to have rooms and beds and, you know, the normal stuff which we're used to. And we're also going to be doing game drives and walks with myself, where we can get a bit closer to animals. We can chat a bit more deeply about animal behavior interpretation. And a huge part of it actually is to integrate that crazy experience we just had, that experience of immersing in the bush, the experience of sleeping in the open, of sacrament for me. You know, the bush is church. It's somewhere really, really potent and spiritual for me. So if one hasn't spent time in nature, immersed like that, it takes a day or two to let that experience settle. And what I found is if you leave that straight into an airplane or straight into a bustling city, it's a really hard step out, you know, it's step out of the bush. It's very difficult to integrate what just happened. It's culture shock. So those next 3 nights are going to be more relaxed. We'll be doing a lot of activities with John as well. And that will be a great way to settle back in before you head back home.
So thanks, Masi. And just to let everyone know, those folks who are interested to join us, we will be taking our own equipment with us for those 3 days, and each person will be required to carry their own equipment. And it's roughly around 30 pounds. So you do need a certain level of fitness, not too much, but you need to be able to walk comfortably for 8 kilometers or so, but comfortably. So we'll do it over a number of hours. But the 30 pounds on your back, that's a thing. You know, people need to be able to carry their own gear. So that's important. And any other words around that, Masi?
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. So we will provide backpacks, sleeping bags, cooking equipment, mattresses, everything you need to do this trail. The
And
backpacks can
food.
be in
Sorry, and
kgs.
food. Yeah.
That's right. So we will provide the food. Everything's lightweight. So the backpacks usually with water will be around 15 kilograms. As a guide, my backpack's 20 or 25 kilograms as I'm carrying radios and first aid kits. It sounds rougher than it is. And the kilometers we cover are adjusted according to the group. So it's not a marathon. It's not a march. We walk through the bush. We traverse landscapes comfortably, slowly. We stop a lot for breaks. If it's hot, we rest. If we're hungry, we eat. And if we're thirsty, we drink. So we follow the rhythms of nature. It's very important. To chat again about kilometers or miles, a lot of people are worried about that, the weight and the kilometers. I wouldn't worry too much. If you have a decent level of fitness, the backpack, it's uncomfortable, you know? Something someone once told me is the backpacks aren't supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to be comforting. They have everything we need in them. So we
Yeah.
put it on, we walk through the bush, a couple Ks, we rest. A couple Ks, we rest. And we go through that rhythm. So it's definitely achievable. We don't try to cover great distances. Sometimes we might, but I will assess the group and the participants on the group and adapt the walk to the participants in such a way where it's gentle, it's kind, and we have a bit of a challenge, but it's certainly doable by most people.
Thanks, Masi. So I think what I'd like to do is actually welcome in Laurie, who joined us who joined us this year. So Laurie, do you want to say a few words? It'd be great to have your input.
Yeah, thank you. It's so wonderful to see those pictures. Masi, so good to see you as well. And yeah, it was a really, I mean, I'd always been called in the sense of wanting to go to South Africa, and I had been to Central Africa, but truly it was beyond my expectations. And I mean, I think that the pictures really capture a lot of it as far as waking up to the sun in South Africa and then going to sleep with the sunset. It's nothing you'll ever see. It's just incredible to be, for me, what was drawn, because John offers, and I've been studying with John for a while, but he offers different experiences. But with this, it was the backpacking. It was being immersed in nature and being able to have completely out of the modern world, right? Out of the urban living. And so the noise pollution, the distractions, all the things that are so demanding on us and our nervous systems, that was when I really felt that settling and that connection. And I also love animals. And so to be in that natural rhythm and to see all these incredible animals and the trees and the bushes and the different things that Massimo shared, and being able to track the animals and just coming together in that sense of connection to myself, connection to the natural world, connection to our community, the people that came together. I'm still very close and in contact with all of the people that I went with. So that's beautiful. I think the thing that people have asked me, gosh, you were out in the wild and, did you feel safe or were you scared? And I'm an adventurous person, but I'm not foolish. And I felt really safe. I felt in the best of hands. I felt like we were incredibly respectful of our environment. It's not like we're coming in with an ego and an agenda. It's really to harmonize with what's there. And, as far as the backpack and all that, it felt, I think comforting is the right word, in the sense that it kind of metaphorically was nice too. Like, you don't need much, right? It's like we're just so consuming as a culture, and to really simplify and to be able to just notice, like, everything that I have is right here. And when I came back to the States, it just was such a nice way to look at life again, in the sense of the simplicity, in the sense of coming back to the truth of our connection to nature. And it was fun, and we laughed, and the beautiful ceremonies and the teachings of you, John, and, in such a respectful way, in such a sacred way, and that all of us were coming from different places in our life, different stages of life. And, but we have that common connection, which you refer to as Ubuntu. And so for me, it was just magical. I can't say it enough. And this is the thing, I think what was getting out of your comfort zone, that's how we grow. That's how we live, in the sense of optimizing ourselves and who we are. And there was times I remember when we stopped at one point to take a break, and I said to John, John, my mind, I can't get it to quiet. Here I am in this most incredible, beautiful place. And I've meditated for many, many years. I have a spiritual practice. And the thing that was profound to me that I still use is, John said, maybe you finally have the space to let whatever's there be there, and let it and to be with it. And literally we looked around and we had these miles and miles of space of nature. And that was my container in that moment. And my nervous system just started to settle. Like there wasn't anything wrong with me. I didn't have to stay in my mind. I just got to come into my body, and I got to have this space and these sacred rituals and ceremonies in the community to be able to transform some things that were ready to be experienced. So
thanks, Laurie. Do you have any, what would you say is the absolute highlight of the trip? Or, I mean, it all seems like a highlight, of course, but is there anything that stands out? Maybe the last thing you just said, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that was for sure. But I have to say, when we saw the herds of elephants, and I mean, there were so many of them. And then we were able to track in the way that Massimo was, teaching us to be very calm and connected, to the land. And then we just were observers. Like we weren't intruding on their world, but we got to be a part of their world. Yeah. And that was incredible. And just to sit there and be quiet, or stand there and be quiet, and the calf suckling the mother, and, stuff that was so intimate, and these beautiful, like you could almost feel the wind of their ears flapping, it was unbelievable. But I think the sunrises and the sunsets. Yeah. Oh, and I will say this, that I wasn't really looking forward to the night shift, as far as when we have to, kind of night watch and stuff. I wanted to get my sleep, and that was kind of like my control around that. And that was actually one of my most favorite times, is because it was just me, and I was just being with like what's around and hearing all the noises and the animals. And yeah, that was phenomenal.
Beautiful. And Laurie, do you have any words to share people who might be interested to come on the safari but might be nervous or have any kind of trepidation? Do you have any words for them?
I mean, I would say, because I didn't know anyone, I traveled by myself, and I actually only met John like 9 years before here in Los Angeles. So it felt like a leap of faith, but being able to talk to you both, and, there was questions that were answered. But I think it's really a calling. I think it's a calling to have something that you'll never experience. And I think that anything that came up around it, like the travel was fine. I didn't think that there was any, once I made the decision and bought the ticket, it was on. Like, I think it was like the going back and forth. It was kind of that. And then once I made the decision, it's like, I just felt everything opened up, and I was already starting the journey. And then also the integration, it was so skillful, because I didn't want to leave when we were in the bush. I didn't want to leave. And then I didn't necessarily want to come back to the States. And there was like a lot of integration time. And then there was a follow-up integration session that was really helpful too. And so I think it was just really beautifully done. And, if like one of our participants hadn't really backpacked or camped, and it was so beautiful to see how we all worked together and supported each other. It wasn't a competition. No one needs to be like perfect in anything. It was about being real, just really real. Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Laurie. Really appreciate your words, and it was great to have you with us, and good to have you here. So thanks, Laurie. And are there any other folks? I know there was Hedda and Margreet and Kelly. Anyone else from this year's retreats who want to say any words? So now's your chance if you want to add in any words, Hedda or Margreet.
Yeah, I have a problem with the connection. Yes. And I can see you, I can hear you clearly.
Hi, Hedda.
Hi. Yes, I must say, Laurie said almost everything I would have said, and it's very nice. We experienced the nature as the nature is, and what I brought with me, and I'm living in the Netherlands, and I'm living there close to the nature as well. But it deepens as well the experience here with nature, what we learned in that trip. And yeah, and the group was incredible. It was nice to be there, and it's a lifetime experience, I can really say.
Thanks a lot, Hera. Thank you. And so now I think what we'll do is we'll open it up to everyone. If anyone has any questions for me and Masi, then we'll answer those questions. And yeah, so over to the community. And Petrina, go for it, Petrina.
Hi there. I'm wondering, since this is late May, I believe that we're going to be going.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what the temperatures are and the weather is like at that time. It's fall, I guess, down there.
Yes, it's actually quite warm. At night, it can get a bit chilly. So you do need to have a good jacket or maybe some thermal underwear for when you're sleeping in your sleeping bag. But during the day, it's quite warm. You know, we're in shorts and it can get quite hot, up to the mid-20s in Celsius. So the good thing about May is that we don't have too many bugs, you know, mosquitoes and things like that. You don't really get them. And any words, Masi? It's about right, huh?
Yeah, that sounds right. May we transitioning now from summer to autumn, on the way to winter. So the rain should have stopped. There may be a few sprinkles here and there, but the big rainstorms and thunderstorms have ceased. And the temperatures daily, you know, the most we're going to get is maybe the low 30s, 33, 34. That's the highest temperatures we usually get in May. In the evening, it's probably 10 degrees Celsius or so. So probably in the day, the hottest it can be is high 80s Fahrenheit. And in the evening, it's good to have a jumper or a down jacket, and the sleeping bags will be provided. So it's quite comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and
Pleasure.
anyone else, any questions? Any kind of question is okay. You've got me and Masi, which is great because Masi is often in the bush and not easy to get hold of. But now he's here. So any special questions for an African bushman that lives in the bush, you can ask him that. It'd be quite nice.
John,
Anything at all.
Yeah. Yes, go for it.
Sorry, I can't be on camera. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name?
My name's Krista.
Go for it. Yes.
Hi, John. So my question is, does South Africa require vaccinations to get there, to enter the country?
It's a bad line. Can you just repeat what you just said?
Yeah, does South Africa require vaccinations to enter the country?
Can you hear Masi?
Do they require
Vaccinations, yeah.
vaccinations? Yeah, that's what she says.
We don't. South Africa doesn't require the COVIDs or the yellow fevers like East Africa. So it's quite open with that regard. However, what might not be a bad idea is to take malaria meds, some malaria prophylaxis. I do not take. I don't think May is a good year for malaria. Where we are is not a heavy malaria area. However, having said that, if you are worried about getting malaria, certainly do take some malaria prophylaxis. Also, just warning on that is that can have side effects. It can lower blood pressure. It can cause sensitivity to the sun and sunlight. It can cause difficulty sleeping. So I think it's up to you and your doctor to have a chat about that and to see what side effects they could potentially have, how susceptible you are to them, and if that's a worry, then maybe manage that somehow. But once again, I think the best preventative for malaria will be mosquito spray, and that's usually all you really need.
Okay. And we've got someone else, B. Bennett, who's raised her hand. Go for it, B.
Hello there. I won't put the camera on because that will probably be the end of my connection being clear,
Okay.
my words being clear. I'm going to come clean insects, spiders.
Not
I know.
many. We don't
They'll
get
be
many.
bigger. They'll be bigger there. then I'm from the UK. They'll be bigger there. I'm just wondering what's the encounter rate?
There's not too many, but it is nature, and this is part of the work in terms of engaging with nature. But in May, we don't have a lot of bugs. We don't have a lot of insects crawling around, and so I personally didn't really come across many. And you, Masi, I think was very brief, huh?
No, exactly. That's why we pick May, because it's when everything's starting to settle down. You know, there's not much water around, there's no rain. So as far as insects are concerned, it's not a concern. However, like John said, it is the wild. You know, you can have a creepy crawly here or there, but it is not a Costa Rican humid jungle forest environment, you know. So we're not going to expect things crawling out from everywhere and coming out down the tree to get us. So it is quite a insect-free zone, but we can't guarantee it. You know, it's something we just can't guarantee, but it's definitely not busy time of year. That's why we selected it. So I hope that helps.
Okay, and
Great,
Katrina.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Bea.
this is more a curiosity. When we do the night watch, did we keep the fire going during the night? Or was that a beacon of some sort I saw in the fire?
Yes, we keep it
So
going all night.
Good. So we're fire tenders too during that hour, probably.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
fire tending.
yeah. So yes, it's wonderful to sit around the fire and tend the fire during the night. It's incredible. So any other questions before we wrap it up for today? Bea, you've got your hand raised. Anything else?
Yes, I have. Again, I wondered if you'd had any, I mean, apart from the magic you've already explained, well, that which I heard because I had problems with my computer. But have you had really miraculous stuff happen between watchers and animals, the animals passing? You know, like a direct encounter, direct looking at, for instance.
Yes, yes, there's many experiences like that. And I, for one, had an incredible experience where I saw a buffalo, actually, a male buffalo coming quite close. And I had to alert Massimo and the other ranger because it was coming so close, and there's a bit of a potential of danger with that. But we just spoke to it, and it turned around and it went. It was very calm, but it was still feeling a little bit of danger because it came quite close to us. So that's the whole point on having someone around the fire and being vigilant and watching for the wild animals. Often with the wild animals, when they come closer, we just say a few words or we make a loud noise or something like that and they move off. But in other cases, we just need to be careful. Yeah. Any words, Masi, around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did have elephants eating around us. We had that buffalo bull come up. And recently on the last trails I've done, we've had lions, believe it or not, roaring and coming around close to camp. We are in a wild area which have buffalo, lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, hippos, hyenas, jackals. So these wild areas are, it is unpredictable, but it is safe. I've never had an incident in almost 20 years of doing this. My friends don't have many incidents, if any, as well. So, yeah.
Well, I meant, I suppose, I don't know, like animals appearing to come to visit, to actually encounter you directly, not sort of just check you out, but to sort of visiting, I suppose, really coming
More
to
of
visit.
a,
I just wondered if there was anything, you know, miraculous. I call it wondrous, miraculous that
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, that's all I could say to you. There's many experiences like that, but it's hard for us to put it into words. But yes, these experiences do happen, and Massimo has a lot of stories around that. So maybe you can. We don't have time for any stories now, unfortunately, but over to you, Masi.
yeah, the whole thing is miraculous. When you're plugged in and there, the wind on the back of your neck is miraculous. Everything is magic. How mystical you want to make it is up to you. Having an elephant walk up to you and look at its head and look at you eye to eye and open its ears and shake its head and walk away. As a scientist, you can read that and go, wow, that animal was curious and he came close and shook his head. As a spiritual practitioner and nature enthusiast, and if you want to go on a deeper level, certainly, absolutely, there's a lot more going on. It's how you want to perceive it. There's many different levels of it, and yeah, it's a magic place, and it's full of magical experiences. So,
Thank you.
Does that help, B?
Yes, that was, I don't know, in my head for some reason I'm thinking, well, I know I've had it with pussy cats maybe, and maybe a dog or two, but I just wondered if this happened, if this had been your experience. And yes, so that's already what you said about the elephant and thing, because that's, in a way, I had pictured that without having heard it. I pictured it already in my head. That was what I was wondering about. There you go.
Thanks, B. And Krista, we've got one more question and then we'll wrap it up. So Krista, go for it, Krista.
So what are the odds as far as seeing the rhino and the giraffe?
Okay, just say it again.
Oh, so sorry. The rhino and the giraffe, what are the odds of seeing those?
Masi?
the odds are good. The odds are very good. We have black and white rhinos in the areas and giraffe where we operate, and the odds are good. They're great. The very nature of nature is that it's unpredictable, and we cannot grasp onto it. We have to let go and put ourselves in the right place at the right time. But the chance of seeing these animals is good. It's really good. However, once again, we can't guarantee these sightings, but we certainly do look for them, and the sightings are usually really good. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. And I do have one more.
Yeah.
What's the bathroom situation? Do we just go off into the bush? Is that it?
Yes, so that is, I'm surprised it hasn't come up yet. That's usually the first or second question. So yes, you do go off. There is a spade, there's 2 spades, believe it or not, and there is toilet paper, and you go off in a safe area and you do what you need to do. It takes some getting used to if you've never done it, but it is quite freeing, and that is a bathroom situation for the 3 days when we're in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to have to
Pleasure.
wrap it up now. So what I could say to everyone and those folks who are watching this is, if you are interested to join us in South Africa in May for the Leopard Warrior Trail, then please just click the link on the event page on my website, and then we will send you an application form. It's a very short application form. So you fill it out, send it to me, I'll read through it, and then I will send it back to you and ask for the deposit. And once you pay the deposit, you are all good to go. And then we send the information to Massimo, and we get the logistics team and the booking agents activated in South Africa, and then you can get your flights sorted out. So first thing is, if you're interested, if you feel the call of this magical journey, of this transformational journey to the soul of Africa, if you're feeling the call, then don't hesitate. Just click that button and fill out the application form, and then I will go through it and you can join us. So once someone has applied and I've accepted them and they've paid their deposit, then we're going to have an orientation webinar where we have just the group of folks who are coming, and we meet online and we go through final questions, make sure everyone's comfortable before they fly into South Africa. You're going to be joined by me and Massimo again for the orientation webinar. And that's probably going to happen around March, and March or the beginning of April. And then at the end of the retreat, a couple of months or 6 weeks after the retreat, we're going to have an integration webinar, so where you can talk to me and Massimo from your home and talk about your experiences and your dreams, and then we help you integrate this experience. So any last words, Masi?
Thanks, John. I just want to say thanks to Laurie and Kelly and Margaret and Here. Much love. Thanks, Laurie, for chatting in Here. I really appreciate that. And it was great last time. I don't doubt the next one's going to be good. And thanks for joining, everyone. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to the next one. Hopefully everyone can join us and make it. It's very exciting, John. So yeah, it's one of the highlights in my calendar, that's for sure. No doubt about it. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Masi. And yeah, special thanks to Laurie and Hedda and Margrethe and Kelly and all those folks who joined us this year. It was amazing to have you with us. And we really appreciate your comments and feedback. And thank you so much. And it's actually inspiring me and Masi to keep going and to do another one. So if you're feeling the call of Africa, answer the call and we'll see you there. So on that note, we'll just say, we'll just close our eyes and I'll play my drum for a few moments and then we'll say goodbye. Hopefully the spirit of Africa can take you in her arms and you can fly in a Boeing 747 to join us. Here we go. Oh, mama, one more. Oh, mama, Africa, mama, Africa. Oh, makula wamo, makula wamo, makula wamo, makula wamo, mama, Africa, mama, Africa. That's a little song and little rhythm to Mama Africa, the great mother in Africa from which all of life springs forth. And many academics maintain that the birthplace of mankind is Southern Africa. So if you want to know more about yourself and where you come from, come and join us and connect with Mother Africa. So thank you very much, everyone. And all those people listening, thank you for your time. And we will send you the recording of this and the application form if you're interested. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Umoya wamo, yo yo, umoya wamo. 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 Umoya wamo.